situation where you don't know how to feel. So you go it alone, you turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real, yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Yeah, let 'em in. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody had another rough conversation with the voices in your head. They said that love has shut the door on you, and you'd be better off instead. Girl, don't you listen? Your time is gonna come. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. Yeah. So when you gonna let somebody in? It's a classic situation where you don't know how to feel. So you go it alone, you turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real, yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Yeah, let 'em in. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody?
All right, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We have a special edition tonight of this Carmelo Anthony and this Austin Metcalf story that has been trending for the last 4 or 5 days nationally. For those that tuned in on, I want to say Monday or Tuesday, we did a special edition, myself, Marquez from Marquez TV, and Jimmy Morris Jr., who was an attorney, and we talked about this awful situation that's going on in Texas. So tonight we have a special edition of the UTB, and we're going to break down because since we've had our conversation, both of the parents have done their own separate interviews and gave their account of what happened. Now, because the judge did not allow any cameras in the courtroom, we're only going on hearsay. So everything that I say tonight will only be translating what the parents said. This is all allegedly. UTB does not have an opinion, so I want to say that right out. But we are going to report. We're going to play what each one of the parents said in their particular interview. Now, yesterday, before we go, I would like everybody on the live to share. We know that it's late. I couldn't come on because we had to do Marquez TV. Hopefully you enjoyed his podcast tonight, but we are a little later than we normally come on. So we're going to ask you guys to share it, and hopefully the people that don't join us tonight will watch it tomorrow. So hit the share button when you come on. Put share it in the comments. I see that Marquez TV is on there. Marquez Miller, he has shared it. Okay, so what we're going to break down is on yesterday, the first 6 videos that we're going to share with you is going to come from Karmelo Anthony's parents. They were on The Breakfast Club, which is one of the #1 morning shows. Thank you, Shirley, for sharing it. In the country, they were on The Breakfast Club, and they had about a 31-minute interview where they gave a test of what happened in this trial. Now, the judge had all of them under a gag order, so they could not talk about it. But after it was over, which was not too recently ago, their kid was sentenced to 35 years. Now, let me break down for those of you who don't know what happened. Some time ago last year, Karmelo Anthony was at a track meet. Okay, it was bad weather. It was raining. His team did not have a tent in this stadium that they had the track meet. And so he went and sat. He was invited, allegedly is what the parents are going to say in their interview. He was invited by somebody that he knew to sit under a competing team's tent because his team did not have a tent. At some point in time, Austin Metcalf and his twin brother came over and confronted Karmelo Anthony and asked him to leave because it was raining. Karmelo said that he wasn't. He was invited there. It ended up into a physical altercation where supposedly, allegedly, the parents are going to say the two twins actually got into a physical altercation with Karmelo. I don't know that for factual. That's what you are going to hear the parents say. They got into a physical altercation. Karmelo had a knife or a cleat sharpener. We don't know what object he had. Is allegedly the person who interviewed the parents did not ask them about this knife, which that was one of the things I felt like they should have asked, but however, they didn't. He takes out a knife or a sharp object. He stabs the Austin Metcalf kid. It went through his heart, punctured his heart. He succumbed to his injuries, and he passed. So the state of Texas decided to charge him with murder. Now, per the parents, Texas doesn't have murder 1, murder 2. I think they have capital murder, they have murder, and then they have manslaughter. And so their defense decided to go for a self-defense claim, okay? And that was what they were saying. They were saying that he was using self-defense when this kid approached him, and they're not denying that the kid, which is the kid's not Austin, but Karmelo, they're not denying that Karmelo Anthony did stab the kid, okay? But they are saying that it was self-defense. Now, I went up and Tristan says that I Google everything. So I Googled in the state of Texas, what is the definition of self-defense or stand your ground? This is what Google spit out to me, okay? Google says Texas is known for its strong self-defense laws, which encompass both the stand your ground legal principle and the Castle Doctrine under the Texas Penal Code, Chapter 9. You are generally justified in using force to protect yourself or your property if you reasonably believe it is immediate necessary and you are not the initial aggressor. The core self-defense is no duty to retreat. Texas does not require you to turn and run and retreat from the outside, from a threat outside of your home if you are in a place that you legally can be. Okay, so that's what Google said about the laws in Texas. I am not an attorney. I just did the research. Okay. So I want you guys to put your comments after we get through these 6 videos. I'm going to kind of paraphrase what I've listened to all of these videos and basically what these videos are saying, but I'm going to play them to you. Some of them are 1 minute, some of them are 2 minutes, some of them are 3 minutes, but I've chopped this up. The interview was 31 minutes on the Breakfast Club yesterday morning. I've chopped this up so we can have some conversation and ask some questions in between. So I'm going to be quiet and get right into the first video. The first video really is talking about what really happened on, I think it was April 2nd of 2025. This is from the parents' perspective. This is not the kid, but this is what they're saying happened that awful day at this track meet in April 2nd of last year. Here it goes. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
I want to go back to that day, that track meet. Were you guys at the event at that track meet on April 2nd?
No, we were not. I was actually supposed to go to the track meet, but the weather was so bad. I just stayed home. It's like, Mama, don't come. Just stay home.
Mm-hmm.
And now, looking back on everything, I wish I was there. I regret not being there for my child.
Mm. When did you hear the news that there had been an incident that day?
I received an email saying that there was an incident. No phone call, no anything.
You know how
my instinct was because Karmelo, he's the type of child to let me know everything that's going on. And it wasn't like him to not call me and tell me what was going on. So when I received the email, we have Life 360. So I went into Life 360. I'm like, wait, they said the buses made it back to the school, but Karmelo location is still stating that he's at the stadium. Like, what's going on? So I headed to the school, and that's how I found out what happened.
And how I found out, I was actually in a work meeting, and when she first called me, I thought it was because it was right after April Fools. I was like, oh, y'all playing this because he doesn't, this is not him.
Yeah.
So I was on, oh, you playing, all right, whatever. But she was like, no, he was involved in the stabbing. So when we heard that, I didn't know what happened at the time. And they kept us from everything. Like they kept us, so we running around from place to place. And it was everything was just moving so fast that day. I never forget. It was just like everything. Then once we found out he went to his bond hearing. The next day, somebody doxed us.
Mm.
I don't want to say her name, but a lady started making this. They try to blame it on one person, not making it about race. But you had this lady that just went on to talk about white lives and all this other stuff, and now it went boom. The race car started about. That's how Jake Lane and all these other guys got involved in this. But at the end of the day, this was a kid situation that a lot of adults made it about their personal, or how they really wanted to feel. This is the time they wanted to show on this is how we really feel about y'all. And they used my son, for example.
All right. So that was the first account of what happened. And already they said that there was an email that went out. And they noticed that they hadn't heard from their son. The mother checked the Life 360, which is an app that, tracks the family. In the email, I guess they said that there was an altercation and that the bus had went back to school, but they had checked his location and saw that he was still at the stadium. The mother goes to the school. They can't find him. And so they started to send them different places before they told them what really, really happened. And so that was the initial breakdown, of what happened. And let me read some of these comments. Comments are already getting crazy. Tariq Nasheed said there is I'm white and I say law, the white people can apply their white whatever. All right, I don't know what that is, but anyway. So right away, there's already a misconfusion about what happened. Okay. And I guess they were keeping him separated. They're integrating him or whatever. All right. Video 2. I want to go straight into video 2. Okay. Video 2, you're going to notice that they're going to say, when this is them describing what happened from what, Karmelo told the parents happened that night. Okay. He said he got to the tent. He's going to say he was approached. They also say in this video that the parents say that the attorney during this time, they're going to talk about the fact that when they initially looked for an attorney, that there was some confusion. Some people said they should hire a black attorney. Somebody said that they should hire a white attorney. They even said that they had went to some black attorneys and the black attorney told them to hire somebody white, being that they felt like they had a better chance of getting I'm not going to, the comments are already crazy. Being that they had a better chance of getting off if they hired a white attorney. Okay. The parents said that you'll notice that the parents is going to say that they wanted to put out their own narrative, right? But the attorney told them not to talk. The attorney also told him that this case was not about race, that he did not want to play the race card. The attorney asked him that even though they allegedly thought that Austin Metcalf's parents was putting out things about them, that not to respond, to let it play out in court and believe in the justice system. They also said that they did everything right. The attorney asked them to not look when in the court, not stare at the jurors because the jurors could felt like they were trying to intimidate him. So in this video too, he's going to say we did everything right. We did everything that the attorney he keeps referring to the attorney as we. And the interviewer is going to say, who are you talking about we? And he's going to share that they are talking about the attorney. So I'm going to go on to video 2. Let me see what Marquez is saying. Again, black people failed Karmelo. I wish they had hired Jimmy Morris Jr. I agree with that, Marquez. Shirley is saying, I agree, but can you trust a white attorney? And already there's somebody over on YouTube that's saying some racial thing. I'm going to skip over that because they're ignorant too. So I'm just going to skip over our YouTube comment. If you want to see what ignorance that is, you just go to YouTube. They're already saying the ignorant stuff. I bet Marquez probably don't go over there because he'll be arguing with him. So Marquez, you stay over on Facebook. Okay. All right. Let's go to video number 2 of the Breakfast Club interview. Here it goes.
What did Karmelo tell you happened that day at the track meet?
I mean, he was sitting there seeing his friend. Once you get the reports and everything, he was actually his girlfriend's cousin invited him to the tent.
Mm-hmm.
So when they invited him to the tent, it just, hey, what's going on, such and such. It was raining. He sat there. Then next you know it, you had these 2 guys who approached him. Even seeing the video in court, it was like, I know y'all see this. I know y'all see this. And we got comfortable with the instructions that we was told. We was told not to say nothing. We was told not to do this. So we did everything we did. We followed all instructions and we were told, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Hey, don't talk to this person. Don't talk to this person. It was all this. And look what happened to my son.
It sounds like you wish you had talked more, that you had said more, that you had got your story out more.
I call myself sometimes you could do the right thing, but it could be the wrong thing.
Did Karmelo want to get his story out more to the public as well?
He was trying to listen. He was trying to listen to what he was being advised.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, don't make it about race. Don't do this. Don't do this. So we like, all right, we go again. We played the game they wanted. We did everything a law abiding citizen supposed to. They told us don't do this. We did everything we supposed to. and he wanted people. Of course, he wanted somebody. They got pictures of him being 17 with a dress on, saying he could be raped in jail. Like all kind of these adults are talking about this child, but nobody's seeing it. Like nobody's seeing it, so we can't say anything. The other family, they go paint this lie that nobody still have exposed, that he died in his brother's arms, and it was
Well,
all
that's
this.
not true, because that is a
No,
narrative. Yeah.
no, you never heard it no more. That was a lie. You heard about a bag. You never heard about a bag since trial. That's what I was telling people. A lie is temporary, but the truth lasts forever. It's just now, it's like harder now. I gotta fight to get the truth out. With now he basically had to get the book thrown at him, 35 years in this county that basically I honestly feel as though that they manipulate us with a smile.
Mm.
They act as if they care, but they really did.
All right, I have to say YouTube is off the chain over there. Our YouTube views are skyrocketing over there. Okay, so what they said in video 2 was basically they had to sit in silence, right? The attorney told them to not reply. The other family was sending things over there. The other family was saying lies like allegedly they said that Alston Metcalf died in his brother's arm. They're saying that that wasn't true. They had people sending videos of Karmelo being in a dress, saying that he was going to go to jail. There were things that they wanted to respond to, but they were doing as the attorney had asked. Now, let me go ahead and read some of these comments. Marquez is replying to Shirley saying, I believe you can hire a white attorney and get a favorable response. It is possible. Shirley is saying that wasn't to see it, shaking my damn head. Tonio Dickerson is saying, till we all treated sentence equally, I will never agree with the harsh sentencings of blacks. And Shirley is also saying they already found him guilty the day it happened. Marquez is responding to me saying, no, Brian Stewart, LOL, I am not going over to YouTube. Thank you, because on YouTube is off the chain over there. Shirley wants to go over there. My YouTube is UTB Podcast, all one word, UTB Podcast over on YouTube. So just go to YouTube. It is UTB Podcast. There's already some people throwing some racial stuff over there. So YouTube is really off the chain over there. Okay. All right. I'm going to ignore it though. Okay. All right. Video 3. We're going to get into video 3. And the jury, they talked about the jury selection and the fact that there were no blacks on the jury. And they were concerned about that. But again, the attorney was saying, let the justice system prevail. Believe in the justice system. Just because there were no blacks on the jury column, that you shouldn't be worried. Said the Lord, it was good to know. They also said something about that, and I don't know if this is in this. Well, let me just play the video, and then we will come back and talk about what happened. Let's go to video 3.
When the jury selection, we seen all the people with the jury selection. I was like, baby, this is not right. But my wife is the type of person. I'm not gonna just say us. We're both the type. We try to be positive. Hey, we're not gonna look at it. That's not what it is. That's not us. But that's what it was.
So even when you noticed there were no black jurors, it gave you pause. It made you want to say something, but you were still going along with the process.
Yeah, I was going along with the process because there's a lot of times when I hope this don't be controversial, but that's the first thing they do is they try to say we're emotional. Mm-hmm. We don't follow instructions, right? So we did everything that we was advised and told to do, and look what happened.
So who was they? You said that they told you. Who was they? Was it your defense attorney?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we were because about him being 18. So what they did was they kind of played everybody against everybody, if you could say. I'm not going to say they played us against each other, but it's almost they had him scared, like, hey, this, I'm a lawyer, this. So as me being a father, all right, you're the guy, I'm okay with playing my position, and I don't want to overstep any boundaries. Everybody kept saying, hey, to beat this, I even went to some black attorneys. They're like, "Oh, you need a white attorney to go out there to fight out there." Remember they was telling us that? They kept telling us that. So everybody like, "Why y'all didn't?" Everybody was telling us, okay. So then when we get it, they basically tossed them over. A lot of objections wasn't done. It's a lot that wasn't done.
So right now you are seeing, for the people that do want to go, Shirley wants to go over to YouTube. I just put the YouTube link to go over there, and you can see the chaos that's going over on my YouTube page. But they were talking about in video 3 that they were a little bit concerned that there were not any black jurors. But again, the attorney was asking them to believe in the process. So what number 3 is giving, it's giving the vibes that they don't feel like they had proper representation, right? They also talked about what we said is that some people said they should have had a black attorney. Some people are saying that they needed a white attorney, that felt like that white attorneys, you had a better chance of getting off. I don't know why they felt that way, but they felt like a white attorney would work better. And so that's what they're saying. Let me read what Marquez TV is saying. We all have jobs over here. We are paid, and thank you for commenting and your support. Yeah, Marquez is already getting started. Tony O. Dickerson is saying, I'm not condoning violence, but they've been killing us for years and getting off. Chance with this system. Okay. I can go ahead and put this. Green over on YouTube is saying, I don't think Karmelo ever had a chance with this system, racist to the core. Sad. Marquez is saying, I'm on both Facebook and YouTube. I'm being professional. Thank you, Marquez. Don't get into an argument with those people over there. Maisha Thomas is saying, when my son got in trouble in Collin County, they told us that a jury of your peers mean the people in your community, not people of your age and race. That's important, Maisha. Thank you for putting that. We had a black attorney in Collin County is not fair. I'm glad that you say that, because Marquez and I, and we didn't ask Jimmy, but that's what they mean when they say of your peers, a jury of your peers. They mean of your community. I'm gonna put this comment back up, okay? They told us that the jury of your peers means people in your community, which is in the Collin County community. When you say people of your peers, it does not mean the same color, the same race, the same age. That's what they mean. So when they say people of your peers, that's exactly what they mean. Thank you, Maisha Thomas, for putting that on there. Okay. All right. We're going to go on to video 4. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely not. And we're going to keep fighting. We will not stop fighting for justice for my son.
Yeah, it's hard for us right now, and I've had my moments. And we want our children to do better, right? We look at our YNs. This wasn't YN. So what we gonna do about this not YN? We can make more YNs. Now you got a kid, like I just told you, everything that we're telling you right now is verified. 2 jobs with the HEB Foot Locker. That's who came to the buying him. His GPA, he still graduated through all this. He still graduated high school. He still graduated. The lady the kid he saved, this stuff really happened. He was never in trouble, and no, he was never suspended for no knife. But they had, actually what I learned was they had a smear campaign that they did. I wasn't familiar with that. And a lot of people that we were reaching out with, I understand business. A lot of people, they got a lot of things going on. So we was reaching out, I was emailing, but everybody want to go through, it's kind of a circle thing, which I understand. But I realized through this, black entertainment is going to have to be, a black network is going to have to be done, because I'm looking for people who would never understand.
Yeah.
No matter how much you do it, no matter how much you do, they would never see it.
you know, you're saying that as you were watching the trial, as you were in there, you know, you didn't want to question the process. You wanted to let it play out. But was there at any point that you felt the outcome was heading in this direction?
No. Everybody lied. Look at the report. Everybody it's called what? It's perjury. That everybody did. Basically just did it with no, and they never was called out on it. I mean, literally they told within an hour of when it happened, it was 2 to 3 people. When they got to the trial, that's, oh no, you know, it was, I'm like, wait, what? And don't get me wrong, the defense said, hey, did you say this here? Everybody. One girl made up a lie, said it was over a race. That my son just walked up. This how crazy this is.
Yeah.
One girl sat on the stand and said, yeah, he just walked up to him and said, what, you want to race? It didn't even make sense. Then they asked her, did you lie? She was like, mm-hmm. On the stand. Nothing happened.
Why didn't the defense call more witnesses?
That's not my department, and I apologize for that. I don't have
you know, you know, as you look at it, and you know, I'm not an attorney, but I'm hearing you, and you're telling me all these wonderful things about him, and I'm just wondering, did the jury get to hear, you know, all of these wonderful things about Karmelo?
No, they didn't. Even when the one kid who was the corporate of all this, meaning the kid who invited him to the tent, he lied on the stand and said he didn't even know him. Yeah. And they had pictures with his grandmother. With his grandmother. Like, here's your grandmother, my son, your grandmother. Their whole family got multiple times, played basketball together, all kind of different things. And
yeah.
I mean, all of the witnesses' statements and stories were inconsistent. So we thinking that the jury is going to notice that. But they already had their mind made up when they sat in that courtroom. Their mind was made up already.
How big of a role do you guys believe that race played into how this case was publicly viewed and how this outcome, this sentence was handed down?
It played a big part. Race, politics, all that. I'm like, man, the kid don't even vote. How he got into the vote? It was a ladies talking about the left side and the right side. Like, what? These are kids. They put I feel like.
Now, video 4 was a lie. It was a lot. They said that they feel like they did not get a fair trial at the beginning. They said that Karmelo Anthony had 2 jobs. He was not a YN. They said that at one point in time, Karmelo had saved another kid's life. They said that they had a smear campaign, and I don't know who they were saying when they say they, but that somebody did a smear campaign, and he was trying to get help from other sources, but the other sources kept coming back to the Anthony attorney, and the Anthony attorney would not let them respond. Everyone was getting on the stand committing perjury is what he said. He said they started up with not a lot of witnesses. They looked up, the prosecutor brings several people on that was committing perjury. They said the interviewer asked her, why didn't the attorney call more people? He said that was not in his profession. That was the attorney's job. Everyone's testimonies wasn't adding up. So the mother was saying, so they thought that the jury was going to realize that and come back with a not guilty verdict. She said that they already had their mind made up when they took the stand. The last thing she said was race and politics played a huge part. Now, because we are fair over at UTB, I have not been reading these crazy comments, but I'm gonna put them up because I want you all to know that we don't take sides, right? And you have a right to believe what you want to believe. Let's see. Let me go back and start with Jermaine Streets. Okay, now let me go back and read the one here. It says, you blacks are making enemies wherever you go. And at the end, everyone is going to be against you all. Jermaine Streets over on Facebook is saying the verdict goes to show that people can't see past the color of somebody's skin. Race was the primary factor. Evidence took a back seat. Richie, who raps, saying they are all YNs. I guess he's talking about Carmela. Another person on over on YouTube is saying, get another new Escalade. Another YouTube is saying, should Jamarian Lawhorn be in prison? Tonio Dickerson on Facebook is saying, however, if potential Black jurors were intentionally excluded because of their race, they could violate the defender's constitutional right and may be challenged in court. Okay. Somebody over on YouTube says all 10 witnesses lied. Shirley is saying, I'm missing out and trying to find a YouTube. I guess God is trying to keep me off the YouTube. Shirley, I put the link up above. So go up in the comments and I put the link over to YouTube, or either just go to YouTube and search U as an umbrella, T as in Tom, B as in boy, podcast. Run it all together and you will see the Unpacking the Baggage podcast YouTube page. UTB podcast. Tonio Dickerson is saying your peers generally means fellow members of the community who are qualified to serve as jurors, not necessarily people who look like you or share your personal background. Okay. Somebody over YouTube says Carmelo will be turned out into Carmelo. That's funny. Wonderful things that get put down the drain by killing someone is a shame. Okay. Shirley is saying this baby was railroad. Somebody over YouTube saying all around Blacks never relax. YouTube is off the chain because facts are facts. Who cares about what you did in the past? Maisha Thomas is replying to Tonio Dixon, said that was included because people that don't live in this community but understand that Collin County is made up of mostly white, Asian, Hispanics, Indians. It's not a lot of us in the community. My son went there, went to high school there, and it was maybe 20% Black. There were in Frisco, which is mostly Indians and white. Let's see. Somebody over YouTube is saying, when you are around Blacks, you never relax. That's funny. Shirley is saying, I've been arguing with them people over on some page. Hey, listen, man, YouTube is off the chain. It really is. Let me just read some more of these Facebook posts. I have never been getting into it with racist people all day. Okay. Hey, listen, if I can't possibly read all of these YouTube comments, it is crazy. I'm going to go right to video number 5. And video 5, let's see what she's talking about. It said that the family went and bought rumors. People were making up excuses. So she would talk about, somebody said that with the GoFundMe that they had, that the family went and bought a new house and a new car. That was a lie. They also said that the family went on an extravagant vacation. That was a lie. But what did have to happen is the family did have to move because they were getting so much hate mail. So let me go ahead and play number 5 and let you hear it from Carmelo Anthony's parents' mouth itself.
Basically made this about this because they knew they could do that smear campaign. Like they said, we went and bought a new car and house.
Yeah.
And it hurt with me without my people. My people really believed instead of them going and doing their proper research. They had people really bashing us. I'm like, y'all really believe that? Who could buy a house in 4 days? Buy a house in 4 days. I know we may sometimes we may not make the right decisions, but come on now, like that didn't even make sense. They said we was going on extravagant trips. There's a lot of things that they did to us that just,
There was a lot of misinformation that was going around, especially, in the beginning. And, I know your family had to move a couple times because you were doxxed. And, I can't even imagine how Carmelo going through that, trying to finish school, fighting, for his freedom. And you guys have other children, so much on you as parents.
So they were talking about the other children, the fact that Carmelo did graduate, but he had to take classes online. He graduated with a 3.7 grade point average. There was really a lot in video 5. Let me read some of the comments over there. If you guys are on Facebook, man, the smoke is over on the YouTube page. Let me see. Let's see what I want to put up here. Maisha Thomas said a lot, and a lot of blacks don't want to put someone of their race in jail or prison. Some of them are not registered voters, and some don't have driver's license, so they can't sit on a juror. Okay. YouTubers saying, "Good job. I'm a proud white male. I'm a white male, and I'm proud to be white. Great, good for you." Let's see. Tony O. Dickerson is saying, "I'm tired of blacks. I'm tired of going back and forth with these white folks because they have forgotten there are born killers." I don't know if that's cool, but yeah, I'm reading that too. Tish McKinney is saying, "My heart goes out to the family. I once was a mother who went through this, but I can share with the family." Tony O. Dickerson says, "Who remember Ethan Couch? He was a 16-year-old who killed 4 people while driving under the influence. He got off all charges because they claim he suffered from influenza, a non-medical term. This is a man made term to protect a wealthy and privileged, saying that they're unable to understand consequences of their action. I guess wealth makes you not know right from wrong. He killed 4 people, and they only went to jail because he left the country on probation, not for the 4 that he killed. But they threw the book at Karmelo. This judicial system sucks." Marquez TV says, "Bring me in the studio and I'll read the YouTube comments," Brian Stewart. We're almost done, Marquez. Over on YouTube says, "I'm just here trolling for the trolling's sake." I ain't gonna read you since you're trolling then. Somebody over on YouTube, he wouldn't get on the stand because if he did, they would have cross-examined him. If I was not guilty, you couldn't keep me off the stand. He's saying if he wasn't guilty, you couldn't keep him off the stand. And that's obviously your opinion, and we respect it, okay? I'm going to go to the last video, and then we will have the video from Austin Metcalf's father. All right, here's video number 6.
Tell us, because we haven't seen that video. What did that video show?
The video showed, honestly, you can show that you can see him coming into the tent, sitting down, and then it's like it started getting a little like you couldn't tell the people. But you know, we're experts. Let me tell you what the DA did. They put a spotlight on the boys, right? So you could see them, right? But they never put a spotlight on Karmelo. And the reason why is because, of course, they was trying to make their side look like, oh, it wasn't that bag of push. The whole thing moved. Even the guy EP said in his statement, it was so bad to where it pushed him out the way. Because he's some pretty big kids. Mm-hmm. They're real big. They're bigger than me, actually. Mm-hmm. So it's like they tried to minimize their doing, but I've heard people who would supposed to be justice if in Texas, if I threaten you when I'm lying, you have the right to do whatever force if you fear for your life.
So the video showed, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kayla.
No, he said if you fear for your life or
seriously body home. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, they were trained jujitsu fighters too.
Mm-hmm. And so the video that you all that they showed in court, it shows him running away from.
Yeah, he ran to a teacher. The teacher said that the teacher he ran to a guy, and the teacher he ran to actually he hugged him because Karmelo, he's not like that. He hugged the guy. Like he was freaking out. He hugged the guy. So the guy they was hugging. He was crying hysterically, and they tried to paint it as if he was trying to leave. But now, then in court they said it that he wasn't trying to leave.
Yeah. Now, did this teacher testify?
He did.
Yes. And he also said he had to stop another kid from jumping on Karmelo, which was, guess what? Supposed to have been a person that was his friend. The guy who, hey man, come on, look, hey, if you've been to high school, think about it. The guy that told you to come over here, you sitting down, the same person who could have de-escalated the whole thing, he was trying to go after him. And that's the same guy that was playing like he was videoing, but they couldn't find the video. He was the police didn't really even try to go through his phone to even look for the video.
So, man, that was a lot. He said that the kid that invited him over did not stand up for him, right? He said that he acted like he was filming, and he didn't. He felt like he had filmed it that night, but the police did not go through his phone to get the film. So it seems like, per the parents of Karmelo, that the prosecutor intimidated all of the witnesses, right? Because there were a lot of witnesses, they say, that got up there and just they thought were going to tell the truth, or they thought that they were going to tell them or say their testimony to benefit of what really happened, but they got up there and they lied. Allegedly, that's what the parents said. They said that during the video they put a spotlight on the twins, but they didn't put the spotlight because the video was pretty blurry and you couldn't see. So they tried to spotlight so you could, when a professional put a spotlight on a person in a blurry video, your eyes can just see where that spotlight go. But they did not put it on Karmelo. They only put it on the twins. They talked about, the law said that if you fear for your life or you felt like somebody was doing you some bodily harm, that I guess you had the right to use deadly force. I put up there what Google said as it relates to self-defense. They said that the twins were jiu-jitsu fighters, and the dad said that both of the twins were pretty big kids. And so that asks the question, if there are two kids, if the parents are right, that are being physical with one kid who's obviously smaller than the two big kids, what do you do? How do you defend yourself? Right? I mean, you kind of got to have some type of knife or something in order to be able to be in a position to defend yourself. If you're fighting against two kids who are bigger than you, then obviously that's a fight that you're going to lose. So, I mean, I don't know what they wanted them to do. It says in the Google how you can be considered to be self-defense, and it looks like, from what everybody is saying, that the twins were the aggressor. Now, what the interviewer did not ask, which I would have asked the parents, and I felt like that was a really important part of this case, was, why did he have this knife at the track meet? And I think that's a mystery. I think that adds, something to the conversation. And for the whole 31 minutes, the interviewer did not ask the parents that. And that's one question that I would have asked if I would have been an interviewer, was, did he have this? Why did he have this knife? Or was it a knife? Because there was some going back and forth about if it was even a knife. And so I think that was an important piece that I felt like the interviewer kind of didn't ask. And I felt like that was a really, really important piece of the conversation. Now let's go. The father did an interview on CBS, and it's pretty lengthy, but it's pretty good. I'm going to play it. Here's Austin Metcalf's father, not talking about what happened, but he is talking about the sentence. He is talking about the fact that he wished that he had gotten sentenced to life. Here's his interview, and it was on CBS. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Paying the price for his conviction. Austin Metcalf's father tonight is talking only with our JD Miles about the price that his family is paying.
Because the lie is temporary, but the truth lasts forever.
Jeff Metcalf finally had a chance to read the words he's been writing in a notebook to address his son's killer.
You said, people think that grief is sadness, but it's not. It's rage.
Oh.
Pure, unfiltered rage. You failed yourself, you failed your parents, you failed society. You don't belong in this community.
That's correct.
Metcalf's victim impact statement came at the end of Karmelo Anthony's murder trial. For months, the father of Austin Metcalf has been silenced by a gag order imposed by the judge. Now he's free to speak publicly and says he's also free of something else.
When I woke up this morning, it was a very different feeling. When I woke up, I felt like 1,000,000 pounds had been lifted off my shoulders. Because I used to wake up every morning with this anxiety, with this feeling of dread. And this morning was the first day I woke up with a feeling of peace, comfort, tranquility that I haven't experienced in 14 months. And I felt Austin.
Metcalf was in court every day of Anthony's trial. The 19-year-old now convicted murderer not only took his son Austin's life, he did it right in front of Austin's twin brother, Hunter.
What killed me was the body cam footage when I could hear Hunter screaming, oh God, my brother, my twin. You know, as a parent, you always want to protect your kids. And to hear my son and the fear in his voice, and I'm not there to fix it.
What was it like sitting in that courtroom with Karmelo Anthony for 5 or 6 days?
Challenging is the first word that comes to my mind. And I'll even say this, I had a little bit of sorrow because I'm human. And that poor boy is fixing to experience a life that I would not wish upon anyone.
Metcalf says even today he's received death threats and has previously endured doxing of his personal information and multiple swatting calls to his house from people who he says have tried to villainize Austin and the family.
I would hope they take a look in the mirror. And if you have children, and if it was your child who was murdered, would you like people dragging his name through the mud, making memes, making jokes, and just really vile comments?
Where do you and the Metcalf family go from here?
Well, I mean, this is day one of a long healing process. Because honestly, it's been impossible to start healing until this trial was complete.
The trial may be over, but the racial polarization among Americans on display outside the Collin County Courthouse continues.
Look at the effect, not just the effect here between the Metcalf family and the Anthony family. Look what it did, one, to those kids they have to live with. Two, it took on this huge, wider, let's have a race war throughout the nation.
Metcalf insists that his son had no racist motives when he approached Anthony about leaving a track team tent.
This case was never about race.
There's going to be those people now that just, you know, try to throw shade on the whole trial with the jury makeup and the speed of it and that sort of thing. I mean,
well, those are the same people that said he was jumped by 4 people, his phone was broken. You're going to spin whatever story to try to keep yourself afloat.
Metcalf believes Anthony should have received a life sentence. He says if Anthony is up for parole in 17 years, he will be there in some form to argue against it.
If I'm still alive, yes, I will be there in person. If not, I am going to make a video, if I'm passed on, that can be played.
There are no walls in Metcalf's home without photos or paintings of Austin and his twin. These images and a scholarship in his son's name are what remain for this father, who says he's ready to finally forgive, but not forget.
But people need to understand about forgiveness. Forgiveness was not for him. Forgiveness was for me, so I don't carry the rage, the hate, and that around. It will eat me up like cancer.
J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
All right. So you heard from Austin Metcalf's father. And we do have to keep in mind that he did lose a son, right? And it's a horrible situation because, as the attorney said yesterday or a couple of days ago, Jimmy Morris Jr., two families are at a loss, right? You have a family that has lost their child, and then you have a family, which the Metcalf's family has lost Austin. And then you have a family whose child is in a cage and is in jail. And they're talking about the 17 years because in Texas, you don't get a chance to come up for parole until you do half of your time. So if you've got 35 years, then that means he won't be eligible for parole until 17 and a half years. And that doesn't mean that he's going to make it. He still have to be granted parole. So he can be denied for another 10 years. That just means that he's eligible for parole. That doesn't mean that he's going to get out. So where he's 19, this kid is going to do 17 years before he will even have the first chance of coming on. In the phase of the Metcalf family, their son is never coming home. So how would you feel if something happened and, you know, there are people saying that it wasn't self-defense, but how would you feel if your son lost his life at a track meet? So this is a really, really bad thing. I do want to read one of these comments that I thought was really really important. And then this one over YouTube says, this case was lost at a prayer visual for Karmelo's family when Austin's dad went there and called the cops on him. This could have turned out a whole lot differently if they had prayed together. So apparently Austin, and I do remember this last year when this happened, Austin's dad went to a visual and a press release that Karmelo Anthony's family had. They asked him to leave. We don't know if he was coming. We don't know why he was coming to this prayer visual, but that was probably a little dangerous and probably not the right thing to do because that was right immediately after emotions were really high. His kid had passed. You know, their kid was arrested. So it was just really a bad decision and high emotional to come. Kentrail Shepherd, he always has a really good comment. He said he lives in Texas in an area highly populated with Caucasians. It's uncommon for teenagers to get multi-tools and pocket knives as gifts and to carry them daily. Everybody started clutching pearls when Karmelo had one. It's wild and disgusting the way people apply these double standards. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Kentrail, that's really interesting. I mean, I don't know if you're by phone, Kentrail, but I'm reading the comment and I would like to hear a little bit more if you're up to it. I'd love to hear and we do have a number that you can call, a hotline number. So Kentrail, I don't know if you're somewhere where you can call, but I'm going to put the number out there because you always are pretty reasonable. You support the podcast a lot. And I would love for you to expound on your comment because you always give me a reasonable opinion on things. So I'm going to put the number up here. Anyone else, if you want to call 501-650-9726 to give me your opinion. I got to keep it 2 minutes, okay? Unless you're 2 minutes each. If you want to call, the information line is available. I'm not going to take a lot of calls, but I'm putting it out there. I really want Kentrail Shepherd, if you can call, to expound on your comment. But if he is not available, I will take maybe 2 calls. Though the limit will be 2 minutes because I don't want you to call and give me a whole Bible of things. But the request line, if you want to call in, is 501-650-9726. I'll leave that number up here. But as I was saying, we do have to keep in mind that the Austin Metcalf family, they did lose a child in this. And so it's just a terrible situation. They lost a family member. We have to say, like we do in every family, UTB gives the prayers to the Metcalf family. We're hearing a lot of things, right? We're hearing that this case was racially motivated. We are hearing the parents of Karmelo saying that their attorney did not do a really good job, that they should have picked another attorney. And at the end of this 31-minute interview on The Breakfast Club, if you want to go to their page on YouTube, they are asking for a different attorney to handle their appeal. So if you guys are talking about Jimmy Morris Jr., they are saying this from yesterday. I'm pretty sure somebody has contacted them now, but they are looking for a different attorney to handle the appeals case. They do not want to go back to this attorney. They felt like this attorney did not represent them well. They wanted to tell their story. They wanted to be able for people to understand their side. And the attorney asked them not to put any of the information out. The attorney asked not to go publicly and say that this is a racial thing, that this case is based on race. The attorney has asked them to let it play out and let the justice system. And they said in the 31-minute interview that they did everything that the attorney asked them. And look what happened. They kept saying that they did everything. They said that this problem came to Karmelo. Karmelo didn't go seeking to start a fight. It is really just a really unfortunate thing. It is really so bad because, again, both of these families have been ripped apart. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the Austin Metcalf's dad saying that, he'd wished he'd gotten life. Obviously he's not taking responsibility for his child approaching him, but is it fair that his child should lose his life too? So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. He said that in the 17 and a half years, if he has died, he is going to make a video that they are supposed to play at the parole hearing of Karmelo Anthony's 17 and a half years if he doesn't live to see it. If he lives to see it, he's going to be there to make sure that he does not get out in the 17 and a half years. And as far as the appeal, Jimmy Morris Jr. has said that Texas Court of Appeals is made up of some blacks, but they are all Republican, right? And then they are MAGA Republicans. So he did not feel that the appeal process, and this is from our legal analyst, Jimmy Morris Jr., would be successful. There are a lot of comments. I'm not going to try to read them. It doesn't look like anybody's going to call. So let me take the number down. People do not want to call, and that's okay. I just wanted to put it up in case someone did. There are a lot of comments. Take the time to go back and read the comments. Also, take the time to go to the Breakfast Club YouTube and watch their full 31-minute interview. Okay. I only play bits and pieces of the interview so that we could talk through it. I'm going to read Marquez Miller. He said, the way Karmelo family can file effective assistant of counsel against the trial lawyer by hiring Jimmy Morris Jr., an appellate lawyer. Okay. That's what Marquez Miller is saying. Somebody over YouTube is saying Anthony Boy was the one that went to their tent. He wasn't scared, but he was told to leave and he didn't. Again, there's a lot of comments, and I wanted to also put going to voicemail. Okay, let me do it again. Why don't you, Kentrell, why don't you, because it shouldn't be going to voicemail. Let me put the number up there again, Kentrell. I wanted to hear from you. Call back. It should not be going to, I'm going to put the number up there again. It should not be going to voicemail. I probably, let me see. Oh, you did call. Let me call you. Let me see if I can call him now. Hello? Is this Kentrell? Let me call you. Who? Okay. Did you call into the Unpacking the Baggage podcast? Let me see if I can call him. Yes. Okay. What's your name and what's your comment?
Brian ain't gonna put me on there because he know I am talking. I ain't gonna say the right thing.
You are on live. I am putting you on. You are on live right now.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Yeah.
What do you want to say? 2 minutes.
Shirley Christopher.
What's up, Shirley?
I couldn't get on your YouTube, but anyway, what I was gonna say, there's a lot going on with that little boy, the Austin boy, whatever his name is. And I don't indulge on nobody passing away or getting killed or nothing like that. But if you being bullied, then that little boy had every right to do what he had to do,
Okay.
or whatever. And then they said the Austin boy, the one that got unalive, the other kids was looking at him like all the white kids look at him as taking up for everybody. He was the toughest one in the school.
So you're saying that he was bullying him, basically?
Yeah, it was all over the internet.
Okay.
And then for the kids to give a statement at first, and they was on Anthony's side. What's his name?
Karmelo Anthony.
Side.
Yes.
Yeah, Carmelo's side. And then all of a sudden, when y'all go to court, y'all switch up. That's because the prosecutors and all of them working together and railroad that baby.
Well, that's basically what the parents are saying too. But thank you for your call, Shirley. I got another call coming in.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Let me go ahead and call Kentrell back because I really wanted to get him on. Let me try to put his. Kentrell, you there? Let's see if we can get him. Kentrell, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got you, man. Listen, I wanted you to come in because normally you speak a lot of truth and you're normally reasonable. I was reading your comment, but expound on your comment because it wasn't very clear of your opinion on this case.
And you mean the topic about the knives?
Yes, about the knife.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Like for example, we live in Arkansas, Texas. We stay in these southern states. When we have hunters, fishermen, sportsmen, it's in the culture in the South. It's not uncommon for families to get teenage boys pocket knives, multi-tools for a birthday gift, or a Christmas gift. So they may have not liked this little black boy having it, but it's not as uncommon. Maybe it is to women, but it's not as uncommon, especially in heavily populated Caucasian areas, for little boys, teenage boys, to have knives. So he had one, and it's become a big deal, and people are essentially code switching because it's a black boy that had a knife. If they had done a survey and they could actually get kids to do it with anonymity where their actual identity wouldn't be disclosed, you'd be surprised how many kids have a pocket knife. Now, they may not take it to school often, but a pocket knife is not that uncommon for teenage boys to have in places where their fathers carry guns every day and go hunting and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I guess, a lot of people in the comments are asking if it was a pocket knife, is a pocket knife illegal at a school or a school function? Should you have it? Is it illegal to have it there?
Yeah, he probably shouldn't have had it at school. I'm not saying that he was definitely probably violating the school policy, but just the idea of a pocket knife, the way that they get, I can't believe that it's not uncommon for little boys to have a pocket knife. And maybe he just had it and forgot it was in his backpack, but it's not. The way that they make it sound so foreign, that's them doing this to get a means and an outcome that they want. In reality, most of all their sons have pocket knives. So I just want people to understand that they're doing that just to get the outcome that they know that they bought their sons pocket knives.
Okay. All right. That explains it. Appreciate you, Kentrell, for calling, bro.
Okay.
That's always, man. Appreciate you. So I didn't understand this, but what he's saying is that in the South, there are a lot of hunting, and that's why he had a pocket knife. And that was really one of the questions that I really wanted for the parents to answer. Not that, whatever happened, but I think it would bring a little bit more content to the story if we knew why he had this pocket knife, or, I don't know if it was some people say it was a pocket knife. Some people were saying it was a cleek sharpener. But whatever he had, it was able to pierce the skin and pierce through his heart, and it ultimately caused him to die. So that's that. You guys have all of the facts. We don't have an opinion here at UTB. We just are giving the facts. Our sole purpose at UTB is to entertain and inform. And so that's the reason why we did the Metcalf story on Monday. And this is the reason why we're following up and doing it tonight because you heard firsthand the parents. You did not hear it from us. You heard the parents say what happened, their opinion of whether it was a good trial, whether it was fair. You heard it, okay? I would encourage you to go back to the Breakfast Club and listen to the full 31-minute interview of Karmelo Anthony's parents. And if you just Google Austin Metcalf, there were several interviews that he did. I only played one, but there are several interviews that he is doing now that the trial is over. Again, prayers for us, the UTB family. Prayers goes out to the Metcalf family, and prayers also goes out to the Karmelo Anthony families, because both of them are at a great loss. And I'm going to end it by doing our closing statements. Then we're going to get out of here. It says, as we wrap up tonight's special edition, remember that behind every headline are real families dealing with real pain. The interviews from the parents of Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf offer us a chance to hear their stories in their own words, whether we agree with them or not. Our purpose tonight was not to tell you what to think, but to encourage you thoughtful conversations and understanding. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of UTB Report. I'm B-Level. Stay informed, stay respectful. Until the next time we see you again, y'all have a good night. Thank you for listening.
Had another rough conversation with the voices in your